Today we're continuing our journey around the battlefields of Loos. Right now we're stood just by the Quarry Cemetery. Now this is a really fascinating piece of the ground here on the Loos battlefields. In the shadow of the Loos double crassier across the battlefields to the far side, we look across to the area known as the Hohenzollern Redoubt. Now we've made a video here before exploring that area and telling a bit about the story there and coming over here to Quarry Cemetery. But today we're going to do something slightly different because we're just going to walk the ground. We're going to walk from here at Quarry Cemetery over towards the area of the Hohenzollern Redoubt and just explore, just see what we can see, and come with me on a little bit of a journey as we do sometimes what I quite often do, just get out here and walk the battlefields. Let's go. So just to orientate us slightly, we're looking back across towards the Quarry Cemetery over there. And this area out in front of us was in effectively what was no man's land. Looking across towards kind of in the centre of the frame now, just there on the horizon, that was the Hohenzollern Redoubt, an area of some intense fighting and so many casualties. Just beyond it, where we visited before, is the memorial for the 46th North Midland Division. Guys who had thousands of casualties fighting in this area, attacking towards the Hohenzollern Redoubt. Fighting here at the beginning of the Battle of Loos and also right at the end as well. The final sort of few days of the Battle of Loos saw intense fighting here at the Hohenzollern Redoubt in October of 1915. For now though, we're just going to walk up the track. Going to keep on going, see what we can find. Let's go. So I'm not really sure how this video is going to pan out. This one's going to be a bit of a random one. We're literally just going to kind of almost vlog the walk of the battlefield today. I'm not here by myself, got my friend Marcel with us. There he is in the background. You guys know Marcel, you've seen him on the channel a few times. Marcel has a channel himself, runs a channel called History War Cinema, which you should definitely check out. What's on there, Marcel? A few different bits, right?
Yeah, World War I, World War II. I do reaction videos to movies, TV shows. Yeah, original content as well, like visiting battle sites and everything, so lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff, and there's loads of cool stuff as well. You guys are probably going to be seeing this a couple of weeks after I'm filming it, but at the moment Marcel's putting out his series from the Arlington Cemetery over in the States. Really cool, looking at the graves of some of the guys who we know from like Band of Brothers, The Pacific, Masters of the Air. You should definitely go check it out. I'll link it in the description.
And also I have on my channel the whole Great War documentary series, 26 episodes from the 1964 BBC documentary series. So if you're into World War I, that's a must-see. I think that's still considered today to be the best documentary series about the Great War, so check it out.
Definitely, yeah, that's well worth checking out, yeah, absolutely. Right, let's carry on. We're going to see what we can find. So on this little adventure, we've just come along this track here, and we're now looking out towards the area of the Hohenzollern Redoubt just across the field. So we're going a bit cross country here. We're going down this track though, so we're not walking on anyone's crops or anything. These are fairly freshly ploughed fields, I would say, by the looks of it. Well, at least they haven't really been touched too much since they were ploughed. This is always interesting when you walk in areas like this, because if you're going to find things like, you know, shell cases and bits of shrapnel, it's normally on fields like this. So of course we're going to be respectful. We're not going to start digging through the farmers ploughing, but we're going to have a little look and see what we can spot as we walk along. So you see what I mean, just as we're walking along here, and literally I filmed that last clip you guys just saw about 10 seconds ago. I walked about 10 steps and you can already see here bits of shrapnel. So you can see that there, that kind of orangey piece, that is a piece of shrapnel. You can never guarantee it, but it's pretty much guaranteed going to be from the fighting during the First World War out here.
Here as well.
Marcel just found another piece of shrapnel, yeah.
And also found this shotgun shell. It's not from the war.
Something a little more modern.
Yeah, probably hunters.
That's the shotgun shell from the farmer who's going to come for you, Marcel, yeah, if we tread on his crops by mistake. But I'm joking, we're not. We are sticking to this path. Don't worry, everything's fine. The more you walk out here, the more you do just realise how much kind of explosives and just horrible stuff was going on here. Because in some spots it's everywhere. Like if from here you can see the little piece of shrapnel there, there's another piece there. There's a big old nasty looking piece here. It's just all over these fields, you can imagine, right? Bits of metal like this flying at you at high speed. Whew. It's no wonder the artillery did more damage and caused more casualties than anything else in the Great War. And you can see why when you walk in places like this. So just walking along the path here, and I just noticed a familiar shape on the side. Here we've got a bullet. We think it might have part of the casing on the side. We're not 100% sure, but it's definitely a bullet though. And I would imagine there is, I would say from looking at it, I'm not an expert on munitions, but I'm pretty confident that this is a Great War bullet. So yeah, just little bits of kind of shrapnel all over the place. This could be, no, maybe it's not. I thought maybe it was initially like the ring from an artillery shell. I don't know if it is, it might just be a piece of shrapnel, but it definitely is. You can tell like the orangey colour and when you pick it up and feel the texture of it and stuff. It's all over the place here in these fields. Okay, so we've just worked our way across the fields here and along the path, and saw loads of bits of shrapnel and stuff along the way, which is all interesting. I've included a couple of bits of B-roll of that into the video as we go. We're now walking our way along the edge of this field to the Hohenzollern Redoubt, just up here behind us. So we're just walking up on the edge of what was the former German defensive stronghold, the Hohenzollern Redoubt. Now, in late September and also early October, British troops were going to attack across this ground and try and take this formidable defensive position. In some occasions, they actually got into the front part of the trench. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to include into the video here some aerial footage of this position, which I've seen before. I'll put it into like an overlay of the map so you can kind of see where we are and see what that defensive position looked like. Now you can see where kind of the nose of it sort of sticks out. At one point we got into that position and German soldiers were fighting back against British troops who'd moved in and captured the front part of that trench. And during that action, a man with the Sherwood Foresters, a man by the name of Captain Geoffrey Vickers, was going to be awarded a VC, Victoria Cross, for his actions in that fight. So just here behind us in the Hohenzollern Redoubt, on the 14th of October 1915, the Sherwood Foresters had moved in and captured the front part of the Hohenzollern Redoubt. That meant they were actually in the same piece of German trench as the Germans themselves, and they'd built a temporary barrier to try to block off and defend that position. Captain Geoffrey Vickers was defending that position with bombs, Mills bombs, grenades, throwing them over to try to hold back the Germans. He realised their position couldn't be held, so he ordered for a second barrier to be built behind him in order to create a more defensive stronghold. He knew that that meant that he would be isolated, he would be cut off on his own, but he ordered that barrier to be built behind him anyway. He carried on defending that position, throwing bombs at the Germans until he was badly wounded. Incredibly, he survived that action, and for his bravery that day, he was awarded the Victoria Cross. Geoffrey Vickers went on to survive the war, lived a good age. In fact, I'll include a more modern day photo of him here into the video as well. Captain Geoffrey Vickers, VC, awarded for his actions just here behind us in the Hohenzollern Redoubt. So we just walked along the edge of this field here, so literally the Hohenzollern Redoubt right next to us. Marcel's just found like looks like a piece of shell, we reckon, right?
Yeah. So this is the bottom.
Yeah.
Going around like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the edges going up.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
I think it even has some of the copper rings still on it.
Oh yeah, look. Yeah, it does.
That's
nice.
Pretty cool.
So we just worked our way across. We're literally kind of on the edge of what was the Hohenzollern Redoubt now. We're not sure if we can get into that area itself because it is all like this. It's all really overgrown, but we're seeing like, there's like lumps of concrete and stuff in there. So whether or not that was dumped after the war, to be honest, I don't know the detail of this area well enough, or if that maybe was part of a defensive structure that was built along here. I don't know, but we're just going to walk along the edge of it just to have a look. Whether we can get in there or not, it's really cool to walk the ground in this kind of area. You know, we've basically just crossed what was no man's land, what was the area where thousands of these guys attacked across and where they were killed. It's always a moving experience to walk in these kind of areas. So I mentioned earlier that this was a place where the 46th North Midland Division saw some heavy fighting attacking this defensive position at the Hohenzollern Redoubt. The division lost 3,763 officers and men in just a short period of time attacking this position. And a lot of those casualties came in just the first sort of 10 to 20 minutes of going over the top. So thousands of casualties for very little gain here attacking the Hohenzollern Redoubt. This is an area that is heavily associated with that 46th North Midland Division, who sadly lost so many guys attacking this position here. Now, the area of the Hohenzollern Redoubt was a formidable defensive position in 1915, and sadly we've identified in 2025, 110 years later, it is much the same, because I don't think we've got any ability to really get into this area and explore. It is heavily overgrown, it is thick with brambles. We did mention a sobering moment just now when we thought we're complaining about our inability to climb through brambles. Well, 110 years ago today, there were guys here trying to climb through barbed wire under machine gun and artillery fire. So we don't have much to complain about, but nonetheless, I don't think we're going to be getting into the Hohenzollern Redoubt today. Okay, so look, we weren't able to get into the area of the Hohenzollern Redoubt to show you guys today, but luckily we've got another way that we can have a little look at it. So enjoy this footage coming up now. Right, the sun's going down. We are heading back to the car. Look, walking across what was no man's land in the Great War is a really interesting thing to do. And sometimes just walking the ground and deliberately taking those few minutes to yourself to think about where you are and what happened there. I certainly found it interesting. And I think Marcel here with us has as well. Yeah, like I said, make sure you check out Marcel's channel, History War Cinema, on Instagram and everything as well, Marcel. Yeah. Make sure you check that out. I had him off camera slightly. There goes, back on camera now. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Slightly different one, right? Literally just, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go do this anyway. Let's take the camera and share it with the guys. So that's what this video was. I don't intend all my videos being like this, just walking out and about holding the camera. There'll be the storytelling and everything else that we normally do. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one, something slightly different. If you did, guys, do me a favor, hit all the YouTube buttons on the screen. I appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video.